Actually, as you'll see, it turned out to be the zombie uh, eclipse. Yeah, we saw a lot of this. So as you know, on August 21st of this past year, there was a total eclipse that crossed through the mid-state of Oregon and then crossed the entire continental United States onto Idaho, et cetera, et cetera. And so Oregon DOT, we panicked a little bit. We started about 18 months in advance of the eclipse, and we sent out surveys to citizens within a certain driving area, and I think it was 10 or 12 hours of driving time. And we were led to believe that there was going to be 1 million people coming from north or south coming into the area of totality to watch a 2-minute and 11-second eclipse, which we kept telling them, just go out at 10 o'clock at night and you'll see the same thing. And so why drive 10 hours and come to the state of Oregon to see this? But it was something that a lot of people just needed to experience. So I started taking notes ahead of this because as the conference was being planned, Greg from Washington, we started talking about some of the things that we were concerned about. We were concerned about 1 million people, our infrastructure, our water supplies, our hotels, our the ability to use cell phones with that many people crammed into a certain area, everybody taking pictures of the eclipse and sending it home. And so we were worried because a lot of our infrastructure, our VMS signs and everything are communicated through cell phones. So we were wondering what infrastructure we were going to lose. So anyway, I just started, we started sending out advertisement on TV and as well as on radio, telling people that there's going to be 1 million people in this area and it's going to be complete gridlock and there's going to be fuel shortages and there's going to be food shortages. And so we're trying to kind of get people to think second about coming in for 2 minutes and 11 seconds of darkness. It didn't work with Lisa Kunzman, by the way. She let me know 3 days ahead of time, hey, guess what? I found a motel in Corvallis. I'm coming. So 4 days to the eclipse, Thursday was when we were told that the stream of people were going to be coming into the area. And so we started experiencing long lines at the gas stations, but that was from the local people that were panicking. If I don't get fuel today on a Thursday, I'm not going to get fuel until next Tuesday. We started seeing grocery stores overwhelmed again I didn't want to run out of beer, so I went down to the store and bought all the beer I could find. We did have a 15-mile backup in Prineville due to a music festival that was going on, and so that was pretty interesting, and we thought, okay, this is the beginning of the end right here. When you see Prineville, Oregon, for you that don't know, the community is like, I don't know, 8,000 people, and it's out in the middle of the desert, and there's nothing there, but that's why they held this festival there. And so everybody wanted to get there ahead of the people. We did start seeing some camera failures, so some of our cameras, remote cameras, traffic control cameras, are on cell. And so we started seeing some people get some of the systems being overwhelmed, so the cameras couldn't communicate. Our maintenance, we shut down all maintenance and construction activities, told all construction stop, maintenance, all you're doing is clearing the road and running incident response. Other than that, you're not on the roads at this point in time. And then we deployed VMS signs all around in strategic areas to send messages because we weren't sure where the crashes were going to be. We weren't sure exactly what was going to happen. Because if you think about 1 million people coming in, and if all the motels are full, we assumed that the right-of-ways were going to become campgrounds. And we didn't have the force to kick these people off. It was in the middle of a very high fire danger. For those who know, Oregon was and still is pretty much on fire. So we expected campfires, tents in the right-of-ways. We expected complete and total chaos. So we strategically placed water trucks, what we had in certain areas, so that we could get through. So, and then the VMS signs. So we did deploy all the VMS signs. And we opened our agency operations center in virtual mode. So we were in high alert, calling in twice a day, giving updates to everybody on what was happening in the different geographic areas. So on Friday the 18th, 3 days left to go, We started seeing price gouging on fuel because of the shortages. All of a sudden, there was a spike of about $1 a gallon. We started seeing some shortages to where they were running out of certain types of fuel when you went into the gas station, and whether that was by design or not, but there seemed to be, super, at an extreme high price was still available while this stuff wasn't. There was actually lawsuits that were taking place because initially when people started making reservations, they did so about a year and a half, 2 years in advance. And without the communities knowing how big this was going to be, they went ahead and rented them for the rack rate price. And then when they started seeing other motels getting $1,000 a night, they started canceling reservations and rebooking them. And so everybody with a backyard was on Craigslist that said camping spot. And so everybody was trying to get in on the venture. To make matters worse, we were under extreme fire danger at that time. So, and then rumors started to circulate that ODOT had stopped all fuel deliveries to the state. Why the Trucking Association thought we would do that, I have no idea. But they thought we shut off the fuel supply. So then on Saturday, August 19th, 2 days left, nothing. Absolutely nothing. You could walk across I-5 when normally you would be run over. Everybody just disappeared. All the local folks were all at home. Everybody stayed put, and there was no traffic anywhere. Coastal businesses who assumed that they were going to be the place where everybody wanted to go, because not only do you get to see the eclipse, but you get to see the beautiful the Oregon coast, brought in extra food, they brought in extra employees, they staged themselves for the big influx of people. They had a 50% decline in customers during that time. And again, the Central Oregon fires kept us all kind of busy as well. So Sunday, leading up to 1 day left, traffic was down 40%, and no one knew kind of what was happening. And then, we were wondering, are you coming? It was very quiet. And then woke up in the morning, and what it appeared happened is that people, because the price of motels within the area totality were so expensive that folks stayed outside of the area in motels in the rural areas, and they got up early in the morning and drove in. And you could see the area totality was just north of the town where I live, Albany, Oregon, and just south of Salem. And so from the south end, everybody wanted to be right at the line of totality. They didn't want to be just inside of it, so they got, but they wanted to be right in the center of it. And so we were flooded with plates from California coming on the south end, and from the north end and the east end, the Washington plates were everywhere. And they were parked, all the rest areas were full, the wide spots, all of our ramps were plugged, people were just parking everywhere. And the funny thing is why we called it the zombie eclipse, is that you all put your glasses on. That's what they were doing. Traffic was trying to go by, and they were getting their lawn chairs out, they were getting their coolers out, they were getting all of their stuff, and they were just walking out on the road. They were walking everywhere. And so, yeah, exactly. And they were oblivious. It was like a million people going to a garage sale. They just parked wherever they wanted to and just walked right out in the middle of traffic. It was the most insane thing. One of our districts decided that they were going to keep people from parking on the right-of-way. That didn't go over very well. They don't have badges, they don't have guns, and so the people that were parked there stayed there. That is kind of what it looked like right up leading to the eclipse. And then the complete darkness lasted for 2 minutes, 11 seconds. The birds stopped chirping. They did. It was, and then the one thing I didn't think about ahead of time is that when the sun did go down, the temperature dropped significantly, and then immediately just shot right back up again. And then everybody, when it was over, they all wanted to leave at once. It took me to get through. I took the back way home, and I went through a little community, populations of maybe 3,000 people. Normally you just drive right through. It took me an hour just to get through the one little town in the back roads to try to get home. Post-eclipse, Tuesday, back to normal. We woke up on Tuesday morning, the traffic had cleared, and we were back to normal. Fuel prices, propane prices dropped right back down again. And,
amazing.
And yeah, and everything was done. So the next eclipse in the United States, if those of you who haven't seen, as the eclipse went from west to east, there's another one that comes through in 2023, and it's going from, let's see, I think it goes from south to north, and there's one little corner of the country that's going to get hit a second time in 5 years, and I think Oklahoma's part of it, right in one little corner right there. So they get to experience this neat little thing again in 5 years. So Texas to Ontario. Yep. You're already planning your trip, aren't you? Waiting for him to walk back. One of the neat things during an eclipse, a total eclipse like that, is the shadows. So if you've never Googled the shadows that take place during a total solar eclipse, do that, because it's really interesting to watch what happens.
Okay, so you lived through it. What would you do differently?
You know, I think we did everything right. We tried to, we tried to notify people that they were all going to be there, that it was going to be complete and total chaos, and it really kept the panic down. We only had to deal with a short portion of congestion, and that was between the time that the eclipse happened and probably a 24-hour period afterward until the traffic cleared. Other than that, dealing with an additional 1 million people packed into an area, I think we did pretty well.
So I have a question. What was the economic impact to the state?
I do not know. I'm sorry.
It's okay, because you talked about gas prices and hotels. I'm sure it was probably significant.
Yeah, I would imagine that it did bring quite a bit of commerce into the area. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I will say one other comment Bruce left out was, as part of the planning, we were talking back and forth, and Bruce was thinking he's going to spend the night at the EOC, and maybe you can just talk a little bit about availability of rooms and what. So did you end up going home every night?
We didn't open the AOC. It was in virtual mode up until Sunday morning, and we were going to open it on Saturday in real time. And so there were no motels, so I was going to sleep in my car in the parking lot. But when we didn't see any traffic coming, we were just like, is this going to be another Y2K? Is this just not going to be an event? Did we scare everybody away? And until that morning, and then it was interesting. I got up early before the sun came up, and it was an interesting drive-in.
The preceding video was produced by the National Center for Pavement Preservation. More information can be found at tsp2.org. That's tsp2.org. Additional support provided by Michigan State University.